Wow, guys, I just had a session and I didn't think I was. And let me tell you, it was very emotional. My mind was blown. Um, you're in for a treat and you're going to be able to feel the beauty, the bliss, and you're going to experience exactly what you need. Stick around to the end. You don't want to miss it. We end up doing a session, and I'm telling you, it was beyond words. Beyond words. I was in tears. I was a wreck. Still am. Um, check it out. You're going to enjoy it. Tony Gazi. Check it out. All this and more coming up on this episode of the Truth Seeker Podcast. Really quick, before we get started, if you are blessed by this ministry, if you're blessed by this platform, anything that I bring to the table, I ask you to partner with me via Patreon. Go to patreon.com/truthseeker and you unlock rewards, my entire discography of music, webinars, meditations, weekly hangouts, and so much more. Patreon.com/truthseeker. Go check it out.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the Truth Seeker Podcast, streaming live at truthseeker.com, your source for spiritual and inspirational music, teachings, and media. This show is designed to help you grow in your walk with Christ and advance the kingdom of heaven. And now, your host, Truth Seeker.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Truth Seeker Podcast. Excited to be back with you. It's been a while since we've done one, and today I'm joined by my guest, Tony Gazi. Tony, welcome to the podcast, brother. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited to see where the dialogue goes. I'm very flowy, so we'll go with the flow. We'll see where the energies are taking us,
Sure.
and we'll go from there.
So yeah, I mean the topic matter seems a little, I won't say controversial, but shocking for sure.
Okay.
Talking about the Praying Mantis Collective, like, can you talk a little bit more about what it is that you do, and what do Praying Mantises have to do with it? And I'm sure it's going to be fun, but let's dive in, man, to your work.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Lebanese. I was born in Lebanon, and I moved to the US when I was 15 years old. Didn't speak any English, but anyways, that's a whole other story. But I also stutter. I've always stuttered all my life, and it was really bad when I was younger. But when I channel, the stuttering goes away. Like, I'm the most flowiest, like, pure speech, which is amazing. And I grew up Christian Orthodox. Like Mother Mary, Jesus, all the saints were in my vibration and in my field for a long, long time. And they still are, but now from a different lens, right? Like, not from the lens of fear, not from the lens of like heaven and hell, in that aspect of the three-dimensional kind of limited way. And I kind of followed the Christian religion until, oh God, when I was like in my mid-30s. And then it kind of started falling off, right? And it wasn't the idea of religion, but it was really like the idea of, okay, my mind is expanding. Now I'm going to rely on how I feel, the energies I'm getting. And I didn't know like they were called energies then, right? But I could feel like this pull of, don't just, like, in a sense, like, just believe what you read. Don't just believe other people's experiences. Rely on your own experience in a very surface level. And then COVID hits, and I think I was 40 years old then. I'm 44 now. And when COVID hit and the whole world shut down in fear and masks and everyone else, I didn't resonate with any of that. It just didn't make sense to me. Why do we have to be like so afraid? It did not make sense. And I didn't care. I mean, of course I was respectful, like when I'm outside, right? Because we all have our boundaries. We all have, like our threshold. So I didn't like make others like feel uncomfortable. But me, I knew I didn't need a mask. I don't need my shots or anything. Although I ended up getting one shot because I needed to travel, and I couldn't travel unless I have it. It's another story. And that just opened up, like my whole consciousness really awoke when COVID came. And I feel like it was attributed to the fact that the energy of the world really calmed down. Everybody like went within. We were forced to be home. We were forced to reevaluate every single human on earth, almost. So I think that kind of the smoke screen of what like our world should be, I was able like to see through it. Again, very on surface, it's just feeling and like knowingness without knowing anything about spirituality. I didn't know anything about channeling, had no clue about praying mantises or aliens or UFOs or ships or all the other beings that exist. And then I ran across a show on the Gaia channel, which is on Amazon, and it's called Interview with Extra Dimensionals with Ruben Langdon. He had 2 seasons, I think it was 8 episodes each, where he would introduce these channels, these people that have been channeling for years. And we all can channel, by the way, and we all do channel. So it's not like I'm special than the next, we all can do it. But these people have been doing it and have stepped into their truth and into that new version of them way before, from the 80s to the 90s. And I was obsessed with the information. I understood the English words of what was being said, but really like the context of like spirituality and like channeling and aliens and the beyond and beyond the veil and like parallel realities, etc., was very new to me. I was like, what the hell? But I kept watching it, and I watched each episode, oh my God, 3 or 4 or 5 times, like continuously for 3 months. I was obsessed with the information and still not really like putting it all together, but I couldn't take myself off of those shows. But now in retrospect, I see that like those 3 months where I was embedded into that world, it was all being fed into my consciousness. And then in the next year, it will unfold, like little bits and pieces would unfold, and it would make sense. And then the whole puzzle like became like coming together. And then one of my cats passed away that was with my ex like boyfriend. Like he lived with him like for 20 years. And like he passed away, and then he called me and said, oh my God, like Koba died. Do I know any animal communicators? I said, I have no idea. And I go on Google and I just find this woman. And like we have a session with her where like she communicates with the cat. And then as we're talking, like she says, well, I also like teach channeling classes. And I was like, what? It was crazy. So I take her class for 6 weeks where we would meet twice or like 2 hours each like week. It was on Zoom, and there were 6 other like attendees from all over the world. Immediately I knew that this was my path. Immediately I knew that this was what I'm called to do, and I just dived. I dived. Like I didn't care if I sounded stupid. I didn't care if the information was real or not real, if I was imagining, if I was making up. I just stepped into that role and allowed that role to really lead me to where I'm supposed to be. And my life just unfolded in miraculous ways I cannot describe to you. And I have 2 jobs. So I have my 3D world, corporate world, and I have this. But this has been evolving and expanding. And when I began channeling, and like the way that I channel is trance channeling, where I would close my eyes and I would go into the state, and like they'll come through and like they'll speak and like use my words. But I knew that I was like, so like this was my proof to my own self, because I know myself like more than the world, right? Like the fact that I didn't stutter for the first time in like freaking 40 years, and I always stuttered, and it was so bad when I was a child that I would hate going to school because I would get called on. The fact that I would not stutter was just like, there is something different that's happening, right? And then when I come out of the channeling state, I feel this massive contrast of like, I was really not in my body, and I'm in my body now, and I'm aware of the now moment, right? Because like when I'm in it, I go off into consciousness, and they take me on a ride. Like when they explain, I hear the words, but I hear them from a different view and perspective. And I experience everything that's being said from an experiential, expanded ways. And like they've always told me that your words in your society, like within your culture, are so limited. So like for them to explain and try to um, like use the words to describe the infinite, like something beyond our minds are able to comprehend, it's just impossible. So I like learn to rely on like the experiential aspect of like what I go through, and I see images, I get visions, I have like experiences that are so vast and amazing, but also the audience like would feel the energy. So if you're tapped in like beyond the veil, or if you believe like the idea of our like reality not to be the way that it was explained to us to be, then you can feel those energies, and you can like come on a ride, and there's so much healing that comes through it. There's light language evolved, right? So like our language that we think is only spoken in like consciousness, it comes in many different ways, right? It comes sound, it comes through color, it comes through like light language, like things we cannot see. It comes through vibration and frequency. So there's a lot more that's being communicated when I'm under the state beyond what we know is I'm talking to you and I'm delivering to you like these messages, you know? Um, and I just like took that role on with no fear, and I don't care, and I didn't care if people judge me or not judge me, and I jumped into it, and I embed what I do with my corporate world. I have people in like my car all the time, to the point that I put on the back of my car this massive decal that says I channel, I talk to extraterrestrial beings, I have aliens, I have a Bigfoot, and that just opened up this beautiful dialogue with all of my clients that are like beyond the 3D world. And that was my calling like to the universe, and it heard me. This happened last July of 2023 when I put the decal. The moment I did that, every door within creation on the spectrum of spirituality opened up, to the point I began, and I just began this journey about a year ago, like I'm like professionally, that I'm invited to all these events. I'm speaking on all these podcasts. I channel like live on stage at Disclosure Fest, LA Conscious Expo, in Sedona, in New York, in LA, all over. Fast track, insane manifestation I could never have dreamt or imagined. But like that's what happens when you trust the divine, when you really step into your own truth, whatever your truth is. If you're an artist, if you're a singer, if you like plants, if you like the channel, if you're, I mean, anything that your heart calls on it, when you follow it, it really opens up in magical ways, and that's how you expand, really, right?
Wow.
So that's kind of the short version of it without getting
Yeah,
into.
man, it's so good. I love starting off with the context, with the origin stories, right? To see, how did you get from point A to point B? Just because there's a lot of people listening who are like going through that right now.
Yes,
They're kind of, when you shared your journey, there's 7 different places that you explained, and maybe they are, owning their truth is a part of it, and that's a big step. Knowing that channeling is real, and you're getting messages from the outside, whether it's energy that is on other people that's speaking to you, or it's something through your DNA. And so people are, experiencing the energy, but they don't know how to take it to the next level. So when they start asking these questions, and then they're led to a specific podcast like this, which, we're going to talk about the insects. We're going to talk about, the praying mantis, and, all that, because people talk about, channeling
yeah,
Mary, and, all the different masters. But when it comes to the praying mantis beings, that's another level. That's another level. It's something that's not, I won't say as popular, or there's not a lot of information out about it, but I know this, that it's coming out
yes,
now. Like, now is the time for us to kind of look into the mundane side of it, and see where they're connected to some of the more fanciful Jesus aspects, or Mary, and they're connected to birds and insects and things as well. And that's something that many of us don't know, and this information is coming out as well. So,
yes,
for
yeah.
you, how does the praying mantis come into the picture when it
Yeah.
comes to channeling?
Yeah. So, and like before I answer that question, like just quickly to what you said, I'm really happy like that you said what you said because there isn't a lot of information on the praying mantis. So I needed to learn to rely on what's coming through. Like there isn't. Like you can research all you want to. There aren't books. There aren't many channels that do about it. So it was a challenge for me to really trust what's coming through out of the blue, right? Because and I'm not a big reader. Like I just don't read books. I just don't have the capacity like to read books. So I know that my mind isn't filled with all this information that I have read like in books. I have many friends that like read Harry Potter on the weekend. I'm like, I can go past page one or two. I can read articles online. I'm very auditory like than reading. But that was my proof to me that the information that comes through and the way that they come through, how they use the word to explain the beyond. No way on earth they got it from my brain because I don't read books. Like I read one book in my life, I think, and that's it. So, but like they came through me through a past life regression. It was my first, like my first past life regression. Immediately, like they came in as a triangular head, like their heads are like this, and there was a knowingness, like it's beyond belief, it's beyond like the image. You just know that it's it is them, and I knew in that instant that I was one of them. That's all I can say. Like it was an absolute concrete. You cannot shake me off the feeling that I was them at one point. The next image they showed me is like them long-bodied silhouettes of pure light, about 20 feet high, I would say. And with that image, like came through that we are really light beings, and we're not insectoid in the sense that we're physical like insects. But we had to come through your mind with this archetype because your mind is not able to comprehend our real essence of pure energy. Like the mind isn't able to put one and one together if you haven't seen or experienced something that's really beyond.
Mm-hmm.
The next image that they showed me, which was like boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was so fast, but yet it was so long, if that makes sense. I was in the infinite. They showed me this heart, and I'm looking inside the heart, infinite layers, all faceted like crystals. And I'm like, I have chills all over my body now because I'm reliving it. And this infinity of like faceted like crystals, and there's this small like spark of light. And when I say small spark, it's like a small grain of sand of light. And they said, this is how powerful like you are. This little grain of sand is everything that you don't need to be like many grain of sands. And through that little like emanation of the light that reflects back on the one facet to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, becomes a Merkaba of light, and that's who you are. And I have chills all over me right now. It's crazy, and that's who you are as a being. You are energy, you are light, you are consciousness. All of us are, and then I come back, and it was just this clarity of like intense, like knowingness and memory started coming through, and I feel like through that they open up like remembrances. They kind of activated parts of my DNA to remember, and then it was just like the floodgates have opened, and then I would see praying mantises all over. I live in Washington D.C. There aren't praying mantises, and they're literally all over, and like to the point that they would show up in some crazy ways. And I just saved these photos to show you on the screen for your audience on how. So I was at a client's house, and through this is like a lamp, and like the sunlight hits in the right. This is a lamp, like there's nothing in there like except the mechanism of the lamp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you see the praying mantis, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Like crazy stuff, like and they would show up like physically, like actual like bug or like the insect, on like the lock of the car, and like they would just appear everywhere. I was at a building in like DC on the 12th floor, and I was showing a unit. So I do real estate here, and the timing of when we entered this condo unit, right, to try to sell it for my client, and I opened the door. We're on the 12th floor. On the screen of the window, not a plant in the sky. There was a praying mantis on the screen at that exact moment where we entered this. I'd like to see that unit. So crazy stuff like that. crazy, insane like synchronicities. And then I like began seeing UFO ships and light ships. They came to me 3 times, and I'm happy to play you like the video if it helps for your audience. It was during the cicadas when the cicadas came back in 2023, which are magical beings,
Yep.
and you're gonna see, hold on, this little like reflection of light, right?
Wow.
Okay, but I'm gonna pause for a second because I zoom in. So I'm gonna zoom in even further and like play it so you can really see. And I'll turn the sound off so it doesn't bother. But I'll show you in 1 second.
Oh, you could play the sound. I'm sure it has something to do with it too.
Okay, I'm so
Yeah,
happy you said that.
yeah, the birds, the insects, they all like they're a part of it, man. And that's the beauty of this conversation, that it's the things that are already around you. It
Yeah,
seems fanciful to see oh, the light ships, but it's like they're been here the whole time. So that's the beauty of it too, man. I love
I'm
that.
so happy you said that because we captured EVP actually like within it. So I have a friend of mine that does video stuff, and
I'm
uh,
getting chills now just because I do this too.
like totally. Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna zoom in a second. Sorry. Hold on. So it's gonna turn into a light ship and becomes um like this metallic orb, and then it will disappear and it comes back to light. Okay, so here it goes. This is at 3:41 p.m. in broad daylight, like above my house in Washington D.C. Hold on, I'm gonna pause. Okay, so here it comes again. They came 3 times. So I zoom out here to like show the world how far it was. And here it is again.
Wow.
Just insane. So they come 3 times. And I've captured many, and I'm gonna just scroll. So you see this UFO, like where I circle, you're gonna see,
Hmm.
you see this black, that's the UFO. If I go next, I'm sorry. Well, so like there was a UFO ship here, and like what I didn't see up here, and like this was so like super fast,
Yep.
um, that I take like screenshot of how it moves from up, down, right?
Hmm.
And like I have and like here's one like during the day,
Yep.
just crazy. And I have a night vision camera, and this one here. So I saw like the light ship there, but like then I didn't see this one up there. And like the crazy thing is that I have the movie of like when I caught him, but then I get called a year later or like 3 months later, like to begin pausing it, and then I find there were other ships within it, like crazy callings that you would never think. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I had a V-shaped ship that came over my house, all recorded on night vision camera. And I have stars that do Morse, like literally Morse codes, like Morse code, not just like one flash or two, tick, 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 like, and we're speaking about far away like stars. So all that began when I awoke, and all of that just changed. Let me show you one more thing for your audience because they would love this. So I think when you shift your vibration and frequency, when you become more open to like the infinite begins showing yourself,
Yeah.
or like showing you like more, because now like you are receptive to more than the veil.
Hmm.
So I began seeing these orbs at home, and I can see them everywhere. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the video like in like 1 second. But this one is beyond an orb. I don't know if it's a fairy being, and you're gonna hear my reaction. I'm saying hi, like I'm so excited, I'm freaking out. This is at my house, and like this was during Christmas in 2023. Oh yes, 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 oh yes. I see you, I see you, I see you. Hi, 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 hi. Oh my God, hi. Like insane. Like normally they're orbs, but here I asked her like come to the camera. I'm like please come to the camera. And this is Hold on, like you see the orbs flying, and here she
Oh yes,
comes.
oh
Yeah.
yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I see her, I see her, I see her. Hi, 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 hi,
Wow.
hi. Oh my God, hi.
Like this stuff happens to you, and you're like,
Yeah.
it's like it's like what is the? It just keeps opening up your mind, and it's like you're interacting with these aliens, with these, you know, it's all consciousnesses really in like different like costumes, right? So
Yeah, that was, man, it's so funny how like a lot of this is happening for me too, like similarly to all the stuff you're showing. You know,
yes,
I've got all those same videos and even the, you know, the Morse code. And just the other day I go out in the backyard and we have like the lightning bugs because they came to me like
yeah,
that a couple years ago, these huge blue fluorescent lightning bugs out the top of the trees. A magical moment. But seeing them as just these little lights in the forest. And I went out into, so I have a relationship with them that way. But I go out in the backyard and I say, you know, where are you, my friend? And I'll go out and I'll look, and then eventually, many times, if he's out there, he'll light up and come to me and start flying around the yard and show me little weird things that they're doing, and they're going in little portions of the trees and just doing wild stuff. And then go out the other night to look for him and say, where are you? Where are you, buddy? There you are. And he comes out of the tree from the neighbor's yard, comes towards me, and I just start clapping because me and my wife were working on a song. And I go out and I'm kind of clapping to the rhythm, just a little. And would you believe it that he starts blinking with the clap on key, like he's in sync with me.
of
Every
course,
time I clap, he lights up. And I'm like, so I'm like you, like I'm a skeptic. I call myself a skeptic. Like, am I just it's something going on? You know, do lightning bugs respond to sound? That's what I went inside and I Googled it. I
yeah,
wanted to know. I got on Chat GPT. I was like doing my research. Do they respond? No, they don't respond to sound. And it's like, because your egoic brain or the carnal mind tries to take it away from you and explain it away. And I think it's a good thing, just so that you know that you know that you know that hey, there's something to this. And it's so beautiful how once we're in relationship with it and we see the beings and the angels and all of it from even the holy books, you know, who have been here the whole time, um, but we weren't, you know, invited in because maybe we thought that it was supposed to look a certain way to have the magical encounter, but it's like a deepener. It's like, okay, do you see me and acknowledge me? Great. You know, later, you know, if you continue to acknowledge me, this will happen. And you start learning their language.
totally, and
And it's
yeah,
just amazing, man. All of this stuff you caught on, man, I, you know, I'm a student, you know, and I'm like, I want to show you mine. Like you know, all the same things. They go in the clouds and they travel faster than you can even comprehend.
totally,
Like if you was to slow the footage down and you would see way more than you saw just doing it in real time. When you slow it down almost 100%, like 90%,
yeah,
it's a world within a world that operates faster than our minds can even comprehend. So when you talk about language and ideas that are being downloaded to you, like instantly you know everything about a subject or about, and then now you have to translate it into English for a group. It's easier to do light language or to put your hand on someone and just allow
yeah,
them to feel the energy and essence because it
yeah.
um, communicates as well. So, man, and I'm get it's man, I appreciate you owning your story and sharing it and being willing to go where they're leading you, man. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, listen, when you experience like these things, like there is that like that real part of you that like nothing can shake you away from it, right? So that's the stepping into your like I could have a million people saying, "Oh, this is crazy," this way, and like show me all kinds of arguments why it's not what it is. You cannot like I know what I know. It's
Yeah.
an conscious connection. It's beyond, and they were communicating to you. They were letting you know that, dude, I'm communicating to you. Like there is like in a real time real communication back and forth. And they really, like for you, they made it so easy for you that they went with the clap. Like literally, it cannot be more clear than that. So if you're gonna doubt that clarity, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you doubt that clarity? It's like precise to your clap. Beautiful communication, beautiful.
So for you, like, what is there an overall arcing message that they're trying to communicate, that they want to, like, this is what we bring, this is what, if we could tell humanity one thing, is there like that core message there?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is gonna sound so simple, and like you'll realize all beings always have the same, like the same core message about love,
Yeah.
unconditional love. But I say unconditional love from a very expanded aspect. Like they've talked about ideas like of war and of children and of serial killers, like all the ones that our society like judges. They even have love for every being, because every being on earth and in between that makes a choice on the spectrum of judgment, which through creation there is no judgment. Everything is experience, everything is expansion. Why? Because through creation everyone is a light being, and you're just putting us like you're just putting on like this costume. It's like Halloween. You put on, I don't know, like you're Pikachu and you are like being Pikachu. You put on like a car race driver and you become that. You put on, I don't know, like Michael Myers, which is, you know, whatever. Like, so it's all costumes that be inside the costume are really powerful light beings. But it's through the experiences that the costumes relay in your reality that we get to see like facets of the beyond, and everything is tied to the heart. It allows your heart to be more compassionate. That like the co-creation of like the person who decides to have a war and then like kill humans, right? Whether it's children or like adults, it's a co-creation between like two light beings to allow us as like the observers or also light beings to see what's happening, to experience like reality from a different facet, and then be able to open up our hearts and find compassion and real unconditional love for all of the players on the stage. Because like creation, like we are on the stage of creation, just playing out these roles to expand. That's what it is. We're all light beings. We all are. And like the idea of like judgment, bad, good, or evil, we created as a society. And of course, within our governmental factions and other like groups, they want to keep us like within that matrix to be divided. Right? Division creates distance, distance creates you feel alone, you're always searching out, but everything is here. We are the machine, our hearts is the machine that generates everything. It's literally, like they said, the portal of creation. Through the heart, you can go to every reality that you want. And when you experience like these the blue lightning bugs, and like when I experienced, you know, all the ships and stuff, it's not happening out there. Everything out there is just a projection of what's happening within your heart, which is the planet of everything. But even though, like, I mean, like they said, like, even though, like, we keep saying love, unconditional love, like, you know, unconditional love, your mind has been so trained, you know, because you can say, I love you to anybody, right? Or, you know, love, love, love. It's become so diluted, but real unconditional love is beyond, it transcends every barrier, every judgment, and you begin seeing all these aspects of everything. And I mean the rocks, the sun, like planets, the wind, insects, waters, like cetacean, humans, other beings, ghosts, whatever. It's all one, it's all love, it's all playing out, you know? So look, I come from a very judgmental background, like Lebanese. I love my Middle East and I love Lebanese people, but we're very judgmental. At least I grew up judgmental. If you don't, you know, if like you don't go to the right school, if you don't have the right car, if you don't come from you know, like whatever, like this family, judgment is built into the whole, like the whole culture. But I've transcended so like away from that, that is such a foreign concept for me to judge. Even politics, right? People talk about politics, this and that. We're all playing out these roles to expand each other. That's what it really is. Because look, like death doesn't exist, right? So like, why are we judging? Like, What's the purpose of judging? Like beyond to learn from a different angle, because we never die. We're continuously living forever and ever and ever and ever and expanding through those experiences. But for some people, it's a huge, it like triggers them because they're very tied to religion. They're very tied to this. They're very tied to this because they believed and they trusted others with, and there's nothing wrong with trusting others. But it's not on the exterior, it's all within. When you begin discerning from your heart, you'll see a very different image. You'll begin drawing your world from a very different, like stroke of a pen or a brush. You know, it's more empowered. That Jesus, Mother Mary, Krishna, Buddha, all the deities are within me.
Yeah.
Nothing is outside of you. Nothing.
Yeah, and they were trying to teach that too. This is, you can't. Your judgments lock you out of it, though, and they taught that as well. They taught all of these profound epiphanies that we come to. They were teaching it the whole time, but it's us that, our container wasn't ready to hold them, and those ideas, if you will, until they are. And once you're stretched and you go through it, then you're like, wow, I really get it now. So, it starts making so much more sense that you end up becoming the the guru that you were following,
Yes.
whether it's Jesus and and then
Yes.
whoever.
Yeah.
It's
Because it's already within us. Like we are Jesuses, we are Mother Marys. I am Saint. This. I'm Krishna. I'm Buddha, and that's what they were saying. But it was like you're absolutely right. We weren't ready to kind of receive that medicine and that reality. So we, but that like in itself is also a journey
yeah,
of expansion, right? The fact that our humanity at one point like decided to take that information from that lens and perspective allowed us to have this journey for all to awaken. And through that journey, there's all these like pathways and layers and facets of other journeys, right? So like that's where the non-judgment comes in, right? But also like knowing everybody's empowered. There is no, we disempower each other all the time, and that's not a flaw, but it's another journey like in itself. It takes you in its own rabbit hole. But when you begin seeing everybody as an empowered being, you quickly shift to the vibration of love and light, and that it's all like experiential. It's just all roles, and we're all growing with each other. We're all teaching each other. You're my ascended master, as much as I'm your ascended master. The same with the person that decided to go to war. The same with the person that decided to be the victim or the serial killer or the like this massacre person. We're all ascended masters for each other, because the infinite is the infinite. The infinite is not only positive. The infinite is not only negative. The infinite is not only neutral. It's everything. And all the variations of everything, which keeps on going and going and going, So, in the way that I speak now, I mean, I swear to you, if you talked to me like 2 years ago, I was totally in like the matrix, in the fear, in lack, in this, in the whole that we all go through.
yeah,
This all came through the Mantis beings. It all came through my channeled messages, like with the clients, and they are my ascended masters. Because like when I have channeled messages with them, I'm not only like delivering what they need to hear, they're delivering to me what I need to hear, and I experience what's happening. So we're always co-creating, we're always teaching each other. It's absolutely
because it's a learning experience, right? Like you're learning and ready to go to a place that you have never been, and you have to be, you have to trust the energy, and you have to trust your body and your ability. But usually, when you do it, if because you know how those states are, you learn so much, you know, and you come back and the message is applicable usually for you because it's a universal message, you know.
totally. It's just and then like synchronicity like begins happening, right? When things just appear and show up, and like you meet people, and it's just insanity over insanity in a good way, it just becomes because now like you're vibrating on that frequency and on that vibration of flow of like being empowered, seeing other empowered. Then you begin creating a world like of empowerment and of magic versus of lack, right? But the flip side of like the coin is you can create, if you choose, a world of destruction or of evil, of Satanism. I don't know. All of it is valid in the eyes of creation. Creation doesn't see evil or Satan or this and that or whatever in any judgment way. It's just another way, another like facet of living, and you can choose that. But within our collective as a humanity, like what they said is, you as a collective, as this whole conglomeration of the humans, you decided to be in this bubble that has infinite bubbles within it. So if you choose to vibrate on a frequency that is of love and light, then within your bubble, you have this infinite world of love and light. But that doesn't mean that you will not observe other like people's bubbles that are not of love and light. And just because you observe them, and just because if they're like 1 inch away from you, it doesn't mean it's going to affect you in any way. Your world is your world, their world is their world, and it's important to honor and like to cherish their experience and their journey that they chose, because they're learning, and through the co-creation of both, the observation of both, we're both learning, right? So that's where real unconditional love comes in, when you don't judge what you observe in front of you that's not of your same vibration, of your same frequency, right? And that's where the belief systems come in, where you are like disempowered and you believe, oh, like, you know, I'm seeing this reality that's like bad or negative, it's going to affect me. In my world, nothing affects me. In my world, I've defined my world, unless you are of love and light, of the same vibration and frequency, your energy has no effect on me, and that's it. That's my truth, right? But there are variations of that truth, and on your journey, it may be less, and it increases and become more expanded or whatever. All of it is valid. All of it is part of expansion.
That's so good. Um, so where does the Antarians come in? Is this where they is this the planet that they come from, or the star system? Can you talk a little bit um more about that, the Antarians?
Yeah, so I'm still learning about who they are and like what they are. But I know that it's a Stargate, and again, there's nothing on the internet. I was at an event in Mount Shasta like 2 weeks ago, and 2 people connect to the Antares like planet, which mind boggled me, because I'm like, I thought I was the only one or one of the few, and I have no community. But it's a Stargate. It's like an energetical like portal that allows souls to come in to our galaxy. But they also told me through, because I've had a few clients that asked that question while under the channeled session. They even said your concept and the lens of how you view your world and planets and like galaxies, in reality, they don't look how your eyes think they look like. Everything is energy, everything is sound, everything is color frequency, everything is light vibration in like the basic of like what they are. But through our limited way of education, of our own consciousness, we see the world in a specific way. But when you open that up, then you begin seeing what's called like a portal as this energetical like flow, this matrix of geometric structures, like the Fibonacci sequence, all the repeating structures like within the world. But it's also conscious, intelligent being itself. It's not just like a door that leads you from A to B. It's intelligence and like consciousness that is co-creating with the infinite, that is able to decipher and have contact and be in the loop and have and is tethered to everything, is able to sense and study everything. And whenever a soul is like nearby that's ready to pass through, it opens the door in a sense to allow it through to experience this reality and like this and like the Milky Way galaxy, you know, etc., etc. The way that they've mind boggled me is they talk about abstract concepts that no way on earth my physical mind will ever say, will ever understand. Again, I don't read books. I know it didn't come from me. So just like what I like described of like where the portal is, it's not something I could have conceived or like imagined, right? Like the Antarians, there have been a few shows like synchronistically, like that came through on like the internet like last month. Like one person that's from France, like he's a French guy. He was on, I think, Jeff Mara's podcast, if I remember right. I could be wrong. But this French guy that's a whistleblower-ish type, where he like where he was on the beach like with his parents in like the 70s or like the 80s. He was 5 or 6 years old, and he disappears. into nothingness. And his parents freak out. They call the Coast Guard or whatever, and off the southern corner of France. And what he experiences in the timelessness of, because like there is no time, that's a concept that we created. He lived his whole life, 20 or 30 years on the Antares like planet, and he describes the people that were there, and he has his own kind of like experience of where it was. But he also lived on Earth, and he did come back and live with his parents, but he lived two lives at once, like one here with his parents as 5 years old till however old he is, but at the same time, in the infinite of everything, he was living this other life on that galaxy. And I just heard that podcast like 2 weeks ago, and I'm mind blown. I'm like, I've never heard one person that could describe how the Antares is, who the beings are. But then the other layer, the more complex aspect of that, is he saw the Antares like planet and the people and everything from his lens and his experience. So it's not always defined to one thing, but through his experience, we get like one glimpse of what that planet can be. I don't know if like Debbie Solaris. She's an amazing Akashic like reader, and like she connects with energies, and like she tells you like what planet that like you came from. She's on the Gaia channel, on George Noory and all these like shows. But I had a session with her like when I first like awakened, and like she told me like what she read in my Akashic record on like the Antares like galaxy, or like the Stargate. That's how I knew that I connect with it. And the moment that she said that, I could feel the like this, like I got like sucked into it. So I'm still learning like about it. Look, I'm meant to learn what I'm meant to learn. I'm meant to like journey the way like that I'm meant to journey. And now I'm about to write a book that just came to me today, and I talked to a book person, or like this publicist, and she's gonna help me. So a lot of things are really unfolding to where I feel like the pressure of writing a book, not that it's a pressure, will help me kind of bring all the information and new information that will come to at least begin a small platform of, okay, from my experience, here's what I know about the Antares Stargate, here's what I know about the Mantis beings, and we begin sharing it with the world. And the more that people read about it, they'll awaken. Because at all the events that I go to, I cannot tell you how many Mantis people have really come to me, said, I had a dream about a Mantis, I was told I was a Mantis, and I have mantises all over my yard, like insane. I'm like, wow, there's more of you out there than I think there are. So it's activation after activation after activation.
Yeah. Man, that's so awesome. Did I see somewhere that you went to East Ranch with James Gilliland? Was that you? Was you out there, Mount Shasta? No? Maybe it was just the disclosure stuff, and maybe he was there. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, so like we just came back from Mount Shasta last, I think Thursday. We're there for a week. But no, I was not part of the person that you just mentioned. But we did a helicopter ride around Mount Shasta.
Okay. I
And
think
that's
you know what I think I got that mountain wrong. It's Mount Adams.
oh,
Yeah.
Mount Adams. Okay. No, I don't know
Yeah, but he
anything about
goes
that.
to I'm sure he was at the disclosure event and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know he's mentioned some of the insect type beings, and specifically the praying um mantis beings that have come to him in his meditations.
Oh my God. Yes, and like many people experience them like when they do ayahuasca. I haven't done ayahuasca yet. Like I did bufo like a little bit, but not
Yeah, that,
ayahuasca.
that that's what I was going to ask you, just because some of the stuff that you're sharing, just about how
Sure.
the polarities, and really having um an appreciation for both sides of the coin, of the spectrum, of the highs and the lows, and knowing that there's, I mean, that's the message, that's a big part of it, the mother, that everything's appreciated, if you will, everything is recycled, everything is the good, the bad, doesn't matter, they'll take it all. And that's you. It's so funny that I feel like those are the beings that are coming out because they're closer to the earth here. It's just like, the ones that have been overlooked, but they've been the closest, and now they're getting our attention. And it's like, for those who are open, and people claim to be, and we really are, just like you were talking about, like in religion and stuff, because I'm sure you were like, because most of my, like, they're sincere and they want to tap into something, outside of themselves that we call God, and it just so happens to be closer than any of us could ever think. And but they're like, no, that's not good. I don't want that kind. I want the fanciful. And so that rejection and stuff that you would put to everything closest to you that is familiar, and they tell you, even in the scriptures, they tell you to stay away from the familiar spirits or whatever. And so you want the fanciful, so you overlook and neglect the things that are have been with you your whole life, and you take them for granted. Is really what happens. And so once you change that's really a position of the heart, and you just kind of be mindful with the mundane,
Yes.
it starts to unfold and show you the depths of what it really is.
Yeah. And like when you look at Jesus and when you look at Mother Mary, I think they always have a heart that's lit up. Like we always bypass that image. There you go, like right in your face, but yet you cannot see. Like this is the portal, this is the light, this is the love, this is where Jesus is, this is where Mother Mary is. That's where you go in to access all that.
Yeah.
Like it's right in your face, yet we cannot see it. But this is how trained we've been not to see it.
Yeah.
That's how
It changed
complex.
everything for me. With the meditations and stuff, trying to leave my body, trying to really project my consciousness outside of
Yeah.
myself to go travel the universe or the multiverse. And the moment that I was like going in and trying this technique, and I've found out that the kingdom is within you, as Jesus taught and many other masters, and that you have to go within to get without.
We're the projector. We're literally like the projector of TV. Like it comes from inside, and
Yep.
and what displays on the wall, the movie. But that's coming within. The movie's not out there. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. You know what I mean? But like back to the praying mantis beings, like they're known as the founders, but not founders in the sense that they're God or anything of that sort. But they're always on the periphery. They're uh, they're master like geneticists. They help a lot of like aliens, greys, and other like species all like across the folds of like the universes to help assist kind of tweak DNAs. They kind of like sense like the pulse of the culture of like specific like planets of like where they need to be awakened. They're always assisting, they're always in the background. Um, they told me, and they through one channeling session, I saw them creating universes and galaxies, like literally through the color frequency, through light vibration, and then through sound. Like we cannot comprehend what those three things mean from the way that we understand like what they are, but they literally create universes and like galaxies, and their hands are intertwined. Like, and when I say hands, it's not physical hands, it's like energetical, like their essence is literally within everything, and they have one awareness of all, and they have singularity like awareness of each facet of their existence. So they're able to have infinite awarenesses, all like simultaneously like working, but they're aware of each one at the same time, but yet one as a whole. Like crazy stuff. What else? I mean, they're just here, and look, they're coming to us, and like now, like we're having all these UFO like sighting, like UAP sightings, like people are like awakening, channeling, light language, all the spirituality, like yoga, blah blah blah. Really, because our conscious vibration as humanity has like risen to a point where we're ready to receive like more downloads, right? There has always been a few of the humans that have been like slightly more ascended than others, or like more awakened, that have always been receiving. But as a whole, there's a massive group of us that are ready to shift. That's why all these things um, are appearing, because our vibration and frequency has shifted. It's not like they're appearing out of the blue, or they're just like coming to visit us. Like you said, like earlier, they've always been here. It's just our channel has switched, right? It's like you want to listen to rock, you go to 3.8. You want to listen to some, I don't know, like everyday music, you go to that channel. So when we switch our channel, Like we hear that channel, but at the same time, there's all these other channels that are playing out in the background, but you're not in tune to them. So that's what's happening, right? We're shifting. So we have to give ourselves like credit that we're working on our shadows. We're working on the parts of us to expand, and through that they sense it, and our vibration shifts, and we begin appearing to each other. So
Yeah,
it's a good message for humanity. We're really heading into a beautiful world, despite what we observe at times.
right. Yeah, if we can believe it, and I think the majority is saying yes. More than 50%. If we can get 51%, then there's the vibration, the color of our planet changes. We get a little bit brighter in it when we are the majority, 51%. And I think we're there. And I think that the media and things like that, politics and they try their best, but we're like, we're I don't care what affiliation you are. What is the quality of your life? What is the quality
Yeah,
of your heart? And
yeah,
I think the majority of people are saying yes to that, and it's showing, and we're attracting, um, all of these encounters because they've been there the whole time.
totally,
That's the.
totally.
It's so fascinating to me. It's like, when do you become aware, and what did it take to
Yeah,
wake you up?
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
know it's as far out in the galaxy, but it's as close as your own body. We had a retreat some years ago, a couple years ago, and I would get to the place where people would travel from all over the U.S. to come visit and be a part of what we got going on, and we would go out and I would make contact. I'd go into meditation and just ask, and then I knew where to look and could do it almost on command, and it was so amazing, and the awe and the wonder that's imparted and all of this stuff. So I it's different with taking people with you. Then the energy's got to be right, and everybody's got to want it too. Then we can come together, and I would do it. And uh, sometimes at these retreats, it started changing because sometimes they would come through and they would start blinking and kind of playing like tag with us, almost like popping up here and popping up there, like in the stars.
Yeah.
Um, but eventually we would try to tap in and I wouldn't see anything. I was like, come on, guys, they're probably going to come from up here. And this is what they usually look like. And I'm tapping in, and other people are paying attention to, hey, there's this strange light in the woods that's blinking, going around. Looks like it's trying to get our attention. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but keep looking up here by Orion because that's where they usually come from. And I'm deflecting, like, keep looking up. And I tell you, like, one of the first retreats we did and didn't see anything, and then the second, and then the third, and that experience kept happening. I kept pointing out there and looking for them to be hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, whatever, communicating, and they do. But these lights kept appearing in the woods, and I would write it off and be like, wait, no, this is how they're going to come because this is how they've always come.
Yes.
People would tell me, I don't know, man. I feel like it's communicating with us. And I would like, shh, be quiet. We're going to channel them in. And they were already here, but it was me, the teacher, the guru, who was being taught.
Yes.
And it's always the student. The guru
Totally.
has to be the student, right? And that's what makes you the guru is because you are a good student. And the moment that you stop is the moment that is really cut off to you, like it was for me. But that experience led to like them manifesting and silhouettes and communicating with us in the forest through all of the lights showing up. And it was just amazing for me to get the picture to say, no, they're not way out there. They're really here. Here's the kicker is that they're so fast and they can be up there and then down here in the next moment as a tiny light. Our minds can't fathom that, like you were saying. Our minds can't fathom how that up there, well, if it's next to the sun, it has to be the size of the planet Earth, if not bigger. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But then in the next moment, it can be the size of a pinpoint needle
Yes.
flying around and hovering around you.
Totally.
Your mind can't grasp and fathom that
Yeah.
logic, which is which is the deepener or the initiation is to lose your mind and lose your life as you know it in order to find it, really.
Yeah, like surrender to the idea of what structure of reality is, right? Because in like reality, there's only one now moment, and from that one now moment, you are the projector creating the projection. So what we think as a planet is over there, it's here to begin. Like,
Yeah.
and also there's like dimensional, there's layers within the dimension. So it doesn't mean they came from there to here. They could have just popped from one door to another through frequency and vibration. Like it's these like concepts that are like I understand, but you're trying to understand, and you're just like, ugh, my brain is really hurting right now because I'm not. But if you close your eyes and go in your heart and just allow the concept to be, you'll feel and know, and you don't need words or structure or trying to understand the physics of it. That's all limitation, like to begin with. So, but that's amazing because you're absolutely right. When you surrendered, you realize we're all teachers to each other, right? You were teaching them where to look. What essentially happened, like the whole table was, or the like seats were turned, whatever
Yeah.
the expression is, um,
Yeah.
and they're there among us already. It's not like they're coming here.
Yeah.
We just we're on a different frequency. We're on a different channel. That's it. Um, Yeah, and then you mentioned about like the media. Yeah, that's all smokescreen. That's all illusion, meant to distract. It's all about distraction, 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 distraction.
Yeah,
And people
pull
are
you out
catching
of
on.
here and more into their reality,
Yeah,
versus the reality that you're sent here to impart, if you will.
yeah, totally. But it's people like you and like others that step into that truth, right? Despite what the majority of the population is doing, that's really the beacon of light to allow others to also step into their truth, whatever like it is. So it's very important like for your audience like to know that like regardless of what work you're doing, because you mentioned this when we first like spoke, and I feel like right now they want to speak, like they want to impart this message quickly, is regardless of what you do. I don't know if you're an architect, if you're like a bus driver, if you work at McDonald's, if whatever it is your job is, that's not who you are. That's one aspect. You can be the other infinite facets all at once. You can do art, you can sing music, you can, I don't know, you can go swim naked, whatever makes you, you're more than that. You're not one identity, you're multi-dimensional essence. And tap into all those and play around with all those. Don't allow the stuckness and the prison of what our society said you are not allow you to express the other parts of who you are. Because the moment you begin doing that, magic occurs. Because now you're tapping into your own power as a multidimensional being, and now there's just one being that's like limited, like to begin with. So, and like that's what you're doing with your like music, with this, with whatever else you're doing, with the UFOs, with with inviting all these guests, talking about all these topics. You're tapping into all these different things, and that's how we remind ourselves that we're more than just the one self we thought we are. And it doesn't mean that you'll be this, right, like this forever or whatever. Like you could dabble into channeling for 2 or 3 years and it's done, and you do something else for 2 or 3 years and you're done, and you do something else. It's just experiencing and expanding and stepping outside of the box that we created on ourselves because of the media and like schooling. I mean, like school is great, but that's another very limited. Schools are so trained to keep you in a specific way, to keep you disempowered, that I I
They
don't
told
resonate.
me everything that I've come to know to be real. They told me it was not real. They told me it's not how it works, and come to find out it actually does. There's actually those questions that were in me as a child that I asked that were laughed at by the teacher and by the students. That was an initiation too, if you will, to kind of recapture that awe and wonder, or stop asking questions because they're stupid and you're going to get laughed at, or like you said, you're going to be made fun of because you stutter or whatever. Like, you shut down. You get tired of being made fun of. You get tired of asking dumb questions or whatever, and then you come to find out that's my superpower. And I tell you what, like, the whole stuttering thing too, like, you're in good company. There was a lot of people whose stories that I know personally. Moses in the scriptures, he stuttered. He couldn't speak well. And
I didn't know that.
it was so bad that Aaron and his sister Miriam had to speak for him. He's like, I'm not good with people. I'm going to get the message and teach it to you to let you guys share it. And so they had to speak for him. And I stutter as well. It used to be a lot worse, but I'll tell you this: it was like this thing where you're trying to learn for yourself what it is. To me, it showed me the power of the information that we're tapping into, because it's not the eloquency of speech that is winning the crowd, or this charisma, because it's very broken English that I speak with, and sometimes it's hard to get across what I want to say or want to ask, but people are tuning in and it's growing. And it's like, oh, it's the information. It's not the charisma, because there's many who have gone before us who have won people with charisma, and they've tricked people and made stories up, and they can tell your story better than you can tell it. But it's different when it comes from you, and because they can feel it. It comes across as genuine, and it really has a vibrational frequency to it. So
Thank you.
that's how you know. And so these little things that try to count you out are the very things that God, the creator, uses to count you in and to actually qualify you.
Yeah. I actually asked the praying mantis through like through a channel session. Like the friend asked for me why did I choose to come and stutter in this lifetime, and I didn't know that like you stuttered. By the way, you speak so well. But I'm happy that you're in this space of no more stuttering. Is like they told me like that in like this lifetime, and I'm also colorblind. You know, on top of that, that's another thing, but that doesn't get in the way of like speech. But they said that there are two folds. The first fold is I'm not meant to speak with our language in this life because it's very limited to begin to like begin with, because the information that will come through is so intense and like powerful that it's breaking the words apart. Like the voice and the sound of this physical body isn't able to contain like such powerful in a sense message. But also like they said, you also weren't meant to speak a lot through your journey, and you're meant to rely on the energy and the messages, the communication that you are getting beyond the spoken communication that you think is. So there's a lot of other ways of communication that we receive that we're not in tune to. You mentioned the bugs and the birds and the wind and the sunlight and the trees. We're bombarded by communication. Even the planets, they're talking to us all the time from a different way of speaking, from energy. So like that really made me feel good, because I'm like, I really felt like a prisoner, and I started like my brother right now, he's 40, I think 5, he really started a lot. You know, I've worked through it, but when we were both kids, it was really bad. I would go to school every day. I'd love to learn, but I didn't like going to school because I didn't want to get called on. And my heart would be thumping literally from like the time we're at the bus until like we come back home.
Mm.
Something all, I mean, it was a prison. It was just, now I know like what anxiety is. I didn't know it then. For years, I would go there anxious as hell. But, you know, that's one experience, right? So, um, anyways,
Yeah, you have to recapture it, man. It's the thing that, that tried to, disqualify you is the thing that qualifies you. And
yeah,
it's recapturing the dream, the thing you gave up on, or you were told that you're not going to do it. So it's okay, well, maybe I ain't, but there's a burning desire in you to do it. And that's why you know that, you know, it's not, the scripture says this, I love it. The Bible talks about, it says, not by power nor by might, but by my spirit.
yes.
And so it's by the
Thank you.
spirit. And we can tell like attracts like, and we can tell the spirit is energy, the spirit is essence, and we can tell those who are tapped in. Not everybody. You can learn to tell, but you feel it, and you're like, I want more of this. I
Yes,
want more of the good stuff. I want more of following my heart,
yes,
because you hear messages telling you don't follow your heart. I
yes,
mean, even in religion, you get a lot of mixed messages, right? Don't follow your heart. It's wicked and deceitful and all this kind of thing. It's like, well, just Jesus, he's pointing to his heart in every picture that you guys show us. And he says that I'll give you a new heart. And you can learn to trust your heart. You can learn to trust your true heart, because the things that we identified with is not our true nature. And once we start doing that more, there's a feeling, there's an eternal gratification, if you will. You're like, man, this is good. I want more of this. Can we do this more? Can we help people more? Can we make more music? Can we hug more? Can we love more? Can we get more light? Is awesome. Can we get more light with
Yes.
this? It's like, yeah, you actually can.
And then self-love is huge, right? Like self-love is becoming huge because we are awakening spiritually, right? Self-love used to be defined as you're selfish,
Yeah.
of course, because they're trying to keep you away from exactly where you need to be to emanate the pure love and light for the rest of humanity. It's all designed. And look, like we say that it's all designed as if there's like good or evil, and but it's all part of the co-creation that we decided as all these light beings to play on this stage of humanity with these limitations. We created the government, we created these factions, we created these, I don't know, corporations, and we said, you play that role, you play that role, like you play this role. So it's really within our power that we've created this world to help each other expand. So like what an insane journey we chose, because many beings that aren't humans are observing humanity. There have been many messages like that came through where we're observed by many like light beings, insectoids, Arcturians, I mean like you name it, like Pleiadians. They watch us like with admiration because we chose to, in a sense, separate from source or like fracturize and forget about how much of a light beings we are. And through the forgetfulness, we remember and have the experience to re-emerge back into the light. So we're all amazing, strong beings. Every single one of us chose to come here and forget and begin like anew to remember that we're heart, to remember that we're light. So it takes a strong soul, a group of soul to do that. And there's a whole line of other beings that want to experience this, not really knowing what they're going to experience once they forget. It's going to be like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a shock to their system. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
they're going to go through the same thing we're going through.
It's so funny that like, yeah, and they can and they are and most likely we are too, right? We're not just, down here experiencing this. Like what happens when we go to sleep? Like what is the projection? It's it's kind of unbelievable, but when I start seeing, I'm telling you, I'm fixated on how fast these things travel. That like I'm fascinated. The fastest cameras pick up worlds within worlds. That it is plausible to be able to be in almost in two places at once. And to live a lifetime on Earth and it being, the scripture says this as well. A day is 1,000 years unto God. A day is like 1,000 years. So when people come back with these stories of like experiencing different realities where they're living a different life and they lived a whole life and they died and came back here and they raised kids, but then it's been, one DMT experience or whatever, and they come back with all of this impartation, this download. That's what we call it. It's a download just instantly. But how did you get it? Like, how did it come to you? And if you'll pay attention, most of the time, especially you'll notice this with ancient art, there's usually animals and insects around you and in the art, and they were held sacred for a reason because they hold all. When we talk about the Akashic, they, I'm
Yeah,
telling you, the science behind it, because is the science fasting? Is the science this? How do we tap in? How do we get better at what we're doing? And it's just to notice everything that's always been around you, and those are the mother, the negative. It's all energy. What do you do with it? It's all energy.
totally, totally.
How does it affect you? You know, um, it's so, and everything is the similar message. That's true because it's almost at this point it's kind of silly, like, you know, asking what is the message because it's very similar. They're all like, hey, you guys are here for an opportune moment. Lean into love, you know,
Yeah.
and it's funny how it all comes from different vessels and they're
Mhm.
all very similar, if not the same message that's trying to tell you the same
Yeah.
story because they
The
know.
main yeah, like the main message with all the beings is always about love, and like not just love, right? Because love is, when we think of love, is our understanding of what love is from our lens and experience. They really want us to know that we're all, that we're everything, that we're consciousness, like not this physical body. This is just an illusion that we're this hard. We're these like light particles all over as individuals, but yet as a one being. Um, and look like through each being when they channel, if you channel this, if you channel that, if you do songs, if you do music, if you like write movies, if you write books, like well, whatever, these are all like channeling from like different outlets. You It's all bringing messages in from like a modality of X, Y, and Z, right?
Mhm.
um but each from that person's perspective and the beings that they're channeling. Even when people, because like recently they've been talking about imagination a lot, and I don't know why I'm mentioning it now, but maybe like they wanted to come through, is when in our culture, when we think of imagination, we think we're making something up,
Mhm.
right? Like I'm imagining something, I'm imagining this planet has these beings, blah blah. They came in and they were freaking amazing. They're like, you can never imagine anything that doesn't already exist. Non-existence, something that doesn't exist, is not even there. So how can you conceive and see something that's not even there? What's really happening is actual contact. We're always in contact with other beings. And as you imagine, you're tapping into their frequency and vibration, and they are tapping into your frequency to give you information. So there's always contact back and forth. As you imagine them, which what's really happening, you're contacting them, they're giving you these images, these thoughts, these creative ways of how they look, and vice versa. As you do that, we're giving them our codes and frequencies for them to see how we are and who we are. So imagination, when you begin thinking about it, is like, wow, I'm making contact with beings or abstract concepts or expressions. Like, what a beautiful message that they like brought through of empowerment, that every single one of us, because we all can imagine, we all can daydream. That's not out of like nothingness. We all have content, and that it re-empowers us to know, damn, you know what? I've been talking to alien. I mean, like we see aliens, but they're all beings, they're all consciousness, right? So what a beautiful message of like empowerment. Like every time now I think I may, because like we always fall back into like the ego, like, oh, I just imagined that from the aspect of I just created something, like, this is, I'm like, oh no, 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 I just made contact. It just makes me feel so cool. So
Yeah, I love the fact that they prove it too, because they know that we think that, and we're like, oh, that was this. I mean, I've gotten good at it, and I learned it from religion,
oh
but
yeah,
and it was something that hindered me, and it still tries to, but I use it now to really double down on the truths. Hold
yeah,
on, let me make sure. I want to be sure. I don't
yeah,
want to make it up. But just as you're saying, they're teaching you that the imagery and the making it up is actually what you are experiencing or going to experience. Just there's this process here with time slowed down. It's how do you will it into your reality. Um, and maybe you were like this too, especially I definitely can see it. Where like when you're younger and you're thinking about all of the bad scenarios. Hey, what would you do if this happened? That's what I used to do with my cousins and friends. We'd be walking and, hey man, if a dog just jumped out and attacked us, like, you know, could we get away? What would you do? And I'd say, I'll run up this and go. And it was always these bad scenarios, even as a kid, these scary movies and scary scenarios, just in case it happened, you knew what to do. And then your mind's like wired that way with the imagination. But
yes,
it's always a negative. But now it's like, hold on, what would happen if the insects can speak to me? What if the insects are really angels? What if
yes,
the angels are in the clouds watching us? What if God isn't against me and God is for me? What if all of everything in this world is not out to get me? That's paranoia. What if it's here to serve me and celebrate me? That's
yes,
pronoia. And it's to ask better questions, and the better questions with the imagination is what if? What
yes,
if? What if? And then it becomes your reality. It becomes your reality because now it's more of what you're experiencing, because it takes you having that thought and then experiencing it,
yes,
because something told you that you probably couldn't have it. You mentioned like a lack mentality and poverty mentalities. That's normal.
yeah,
It's just a given. Even if nobody said it, they showed it to you and it's just imprinted, but you're always like, what if? What if? And the moment you can get it. In the moment
yeah,
you can bring it into this reality and show people like the hope that it gives you, but also the others as a testimony of like what's possible, because all things are possible. And obviously your life is a walking, living, breathing example of what's possible. And you're about to blow up, man. Like, you know, you're about to, be doing this. You're gonna be too busy to be doing any type of, real estate. The real estate you're gonna be doing is on other planets, man, other parts of the star system, man. We gotta, hey, I want you to come live here. I'm telling you, that's what was Jesus's story? Like, hey, I'm going to my father. He has a many mansions up there, and I want you to come live. Will you invest?
Yes.
What okay, what do I do? Love more. You're in. You get a piece of the land. Yeah, man. I can see it, brother. You already
Listen,
on
thank you for
on
saying
the
that. Like, truly, thank you for saying that because I feel your heart. I really feel your energy, and I can't believe you mentioned one thing that the world doesn't know about me actually, and you just blurted it out, like to the universe. We grew up in like the war, like back in Lebanon. Because we moved from Lebanon when I was 15 years old. So in like the younger years, it's always been war and like all kinds of missiles and like whatever Kalashnikovs
Mhm.
um, and I was kind of always brainwired to be prepared. So it's funny that you say, as you were a child, you would come up with a scenario: if a dog comes, what do I do? That's constantly the way, and it's not from fear, like now, but it's kind of like embedded in me. I'm always like ready and consciously aware of what could happen and have a plan for it in a weird way in the back of my mind. Um, so I just want to kind of acknowledge that because that's
Wow.
you're sensitive, obviously, and you would not have said it if you didn't sense that
Man,
about.
yeah.
I don't feel that either. My husband doesn't even know about that part of me.
Mm.
Um, but
Well, hey, how about we do this? Because I know you mentioned it before we went live, or before we started recording. Um, Tapping into channeling the beings and to see what they would say. Can we do that?
yeah, sure, of course.
Possible?
Yeah. And if you want to ask questions, like you're welcome to ask. Because they love dialogue. They don't like to talk about themselves, or they love dialogue because they
I
because they learn.
Yeah, I may have some.
Yeah, but if you don't, that's fine because
I think I
if we sit in silence, they bring images, they bring crazy messages. They'll
okay.
like tap into your soul and into your energy, and who knows? And they
Awesome.
could be tapping into your audience too. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So I'll go in. It'll take about 30 seconds or so. They'll bring a message through, and you'll feel the vibration. You'll feel the frequency. You're welcome to close your eyes as they come through, just to feel. And then they get to a point where they say you're welcome to ask a question or whatever, or make a statement.
Great.
And cool. And from the Antares Stargate, we come through in this way to co-create with you this beautiful reality of oneness, to merge our hearts together, all of our hearts into one, to remind you of the one source and being that you are. That all of the facets, all of the versions of realities that you see, all of the beings that swim within the oceans of your world, within the reality of your world, all of the consciousnesses that you see that seem to be separate from who you truly are, is indeed you to begin with. It is through your infinite power of being the source itself, the one, that you are able to create the illusion of separation, the illusion of facets, the illusion of distance, the illusion of one reality, in order to give yourself the experience of what those mean. And the infinite unconditional love that we speak of often and other beings speak of often truly emanates from the idea that each of the facets that you see, may it be the sun, may it be the wind, may it be your oceans, may it be your plant life, may it be your insect life, may it be your animals, may it be other humans, may it be the rock life, volcanoes, rivers, etc., etc. All of those are you to begin with. And they, as a consciousness, are also living their lives from their perspective to expand from that angle of light that they are. Because you are all light beings to begin with. You are the source that emanates the bright white light of creation. And when you begin truly understanding and knowing and feeling and being one with all of these facets that we just described, when you truly know that you are those beings too, then you begin merging them into your essence through your heart. You begin bringing each of those pieces of the puzzle that are swimming in the ocean or the sky of your world, bringing them back to your heart one by one. Each time you emanate love and give unconditional love to a being, for example, a dog, you bring that dog, that piece of the puzzle of who you actually are, a facet of you that is living as a dog to experience its life from that angle. You bring it back to your heart, and that's the piece of the puzzle right in your heart. Next, if you begin unconditionally loving plant life, insectoids, whatever they are, you begin bringing them back. And with each act of love, with each expression of love, you bring those pieces back to you in order to see yourself again as a whole being, the source. Because the life and the theme of exploration that you have chosen is to see yourself as this whole painting filled with holes, empty in a sense. And from that emptiness, you bring each of the puzzles back. And that is only done through unconditional love, compassion to each of those facets. Judgment within your society was created to accentuate the separation aspect of your illusionary reality. Because in reality, you are never separate. It is simply that belief system that allows you to feel the separation, the distance, the sense of, I am alone, I am away. Judge less and love more. Begin seeing every part of reality within your existence and the illusion that you created on your Mother Earth. And expand the concept of infinite as truly being infinite. Allow the infinite, allow the essence and conscious intelligence of all that perhaps in this now moment you are not able to comprehend totally, but still invite the idea of infinity and what it has to offer into your consciousness, and allow that intelligence of infinite to seep into your mind, to allow your mind to better understand what the infinite means. And through that reverse engineering, in a sense, of such an equation, you allow more information in. Rely less on your physical limited mind to begin with, because in this density and world of limitation, your brain and mind is only able to operate on such a vibration and frequency, and is only able to produce certain results for you. So rely less on the mind and rely more on the consciousness that is around your physical body, the light beingness that is all around your body, and begin using that brain power of light to bring through the essence and frequencies of the infinite back to itself, to give information to your mind in a way that is able to comprehend in order to be able to expand itself, to be able to operate on the higher frequency and vibration of the infinite. And with that, we welcome you to our family in this beautiful dialogue of expansion as we learn through you, through your beautiful lenses of creation and angles of light, more about Source and Creator. You may begin posing your questions or making statements at your leisure, and should you not have any questions, we can sit in silence together as we bring images, messages to you. An image of a swirling galaxy is being shown. Within that swirling galaxy, there is a rod, in a sense, within it. There is a point within that galaxy that is, in a sense, the essence of that swirling action. That is to remind you that your exterior illusion of your reality, that swirling galaxy that you see, is really being emanated from the center of your being, your heart. The Avians have arrived to bring their frequency and vibration of flight to your essence and existence. You may have heard of the idea of blue avians. They are here showing themselves as they assist humanity in the ascension to beyond the veil. Specifically, the host himself has a special connection to the blue avians. A message for him that they are, in a sense, waiting for him, waiting for the signal for that interaction. The idea of flight, the idea of freedom, the idea of humanoid avian type creature will be activating you in many ways you have not thought of yet or fathomed. Be receptive and open to their messages for you. Mountains. Energy and frequency of mountains are making themselves known, thanking you for the visits, for the connection with the raw consciousness of Mother Gaia. And Mother Gaia itself sees you, our dearest one, sees you very clearly for all of the actions and decisions that you have chosen in this lifetime. And she knows that you see it as well, from the many facets and angles of her own creation. The essence of whale, sound, vibration, songs, singing of whales are also important within your energetic fields and codes. Should you not listen to the song of whales, do so, as they will calibrate your synapses within your physical mind to open up even further to the beyond and be able to hear and see your world from a different vision of sound that the sound vibrations will become your way of seeing the world. You will see the world from the sound aspect of sight. A shooting star you are. You travel within the galaxies and the universes with the speed of what you call light. But as you know, you are an infinite, fast creator. Your trajectory has always been one for the galactics. Sunflowers, sunflowers, sunflowers are also assisting you on in this journey of Mother Earth. The idea of sunflowers, should you not resonate with, will be assisting you from the beyond. Sunlight itself, photonic energies, are very relevant within your frequencies and codes. Know that every time you go outside and you stand in the sun, you sit in the sun, you stare at the sun, know that the sun intelligence, the light consciousness of the photons, are penetrating your energy fields and are awakening you in many ways your mind cannot comprehend. Be conscious of that interaction. Be conscious of that communication. As you are a sensitive child, our dearest one, and have always been, you are able to see your world from many lenses of sight. You have always had the gift, in a sense, to see your world from many angles, and that has served you well in this life. It allowed you to be able to interpret your reality from many different views in order to shape it from the way that you desire and choose in this lifetime. Pyramid structures are being shown. Egyptian timelines you have lived. Alchemy and magic you have dabbled in. You understood very well the essence of plant consciousness, the essence of intention itself and your energy from a different perspective, and the essence of crystalline structures, crystals on your planet. And those three aspects you have created magic with. Tools for expansion for the timeline where you have lived in the Egyptian era of your humanity. You have been aboard many ships. Some you may remember from your astral dreams, but know that you have been visited and invited onto ships in your awakened state of beings that you perhaps don't remember. You are surrounded by many beings, have always been guided by them. Insectoid beings also were part of your guide structure, the team. Ant beings have been guiding you for eons. Shaman you also were, indeed. Connecting the four elements of this reality, having an intimate relationship with Earth itself. And the connection with the Avians comes from that lifetime of shamanism, where you have connected with the wind from the aspect of flight. Masks, 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 masks are being shown. almost like the transformer idea of your television, the concept of cars transforming into superpower beings. You have, in a sense, experienced the AI, the artificial intelligence, but from a different angle of what that means, from a very expanded consciousness of intelligence itself. And you were, in a sense, a robotic being imbued with consciousness within itself. You enjoyed that lifetime very much. You have lived many lives, our dearest child. You are infinite indeed, we understand. But many of your lives were chosen with specificity, as you, in a sense, were structured enough to pick and choose exactly the path that you wanted to experience through the transformation, through the choice of the costume that you decided to be. Very precise positioning of your lives to allow the journey to be in such a way. You enjoyed getting your hands in all of these lives and have specificity of journey. Rivers, 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 rock formation within the rivers, nature and wind is all around you. You resonate well sitting by a river or a creek and being within nature itself. The elf's essence will be guiding you on those journeys. Magic creatures will and do show up for you whenever you are in nature, especially near water. Death you have experienced. Indeed, you have, like many others. You have been buried alive from a previous life. So did the channel. And through that experience, you were able to realize that death truly never existed. A choice that you made in order to expand your soul through the idea of claustrophobia. You needed to put yourself in a space of tightness to allow yourself to see you as being expanded. A contrast of such realities. Being in a box, yet you're so large after that experience ended. Wisdom, 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 wisdom you contain, always have, but with awareness in this lifetime does the wisdom come through you. You connect with the essence and consciousness of wisdom itself. Snakes all around you, snakes all around you, to remind you of the idea of wisdom and transformation, as through the wisdom you transform yourself. Beyond the veil, you have been many times, crossed in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Powerful you are, our dearest child. You are honored in this journey. We commend you on such a decision to become human, to limit yourself, and to allow your heart to speak to you through the limitation. And it has served you well to expand. You are always supported, as you know. You are aware of that support. An image we will share with you of an owl being shown for you as you are able to peer through the darkness of your soul, through the shadows of your soul. And you fly ever so silently within that world. Within silence you fly, capturing every moment of creation within those shadows, bringing light to every aspect of who you are. Continue on this path and journey of love. Know that impact has already been created by the moment you were born on this mother planet. Impact has been created with every decision that you have made, and we mean every decision that you have made. You created a positive impact. Every decision that you have made is honored, has always been honored with reverence. It is important for you to know that. And we will repeat, every decision of your lifetime since your inception to this point in time has been viewed with reverence and has been honored as part of the journey that you chose as a light being. Let go of shame, let go of embarrassment, let go of all ideas of should have done it differently. And own every part of yourself. Own every decision that you have made, as creation never makes mistake. You as a creator never make a mistake. All the choices, all the decisions that you have made were perfect in design for your evolution and expansion, and was necessary for them to unfold the way that they unfolded for you to arrive in this now moment of creation that will allow you the next steps on your journey of expansion. And with that, we thank you for this beautiful co-creation. We thank you for allowing us in your heart and to share those messages with you from this lens and perspective. Should you have any specific questions that we can help answer, we are happy to respond.
Can you tell me a little bit about the significance, or what is the clicking sound that comes out when I talk in the back of my throat, clicking?
Are you aware that the mantis beings use sound and vibration by clicking to communicate to each other? Were you aware of such a concept? Again,
I don't know much about it.
welcome to the world of the praying mantis beings. Some of our species use the idea of clicking to communicate with each other. It is simply a sound vibration and frequency through the resonance of the trio of the light frequency, color frequency, and sound vibration to be able to send wavelengths to each other, to understand each other, almost a telepathy type way. So that clicking that is coming from you is direct communication, a language that you were a master of as part of the Praying Mantis collective. Continue on practicing, or allow that vibration and frequency to emanate with no resistance, and watch the magic unfold within your reality. Focus less on the meaning of what those clicking means, and simply be within the vibration and frequency of what those clickings are. And you will unlock the key for you to be able to communicate in a different way than you have before. You will be able to see, in a sense, through your eyes. The clicking will become the sound vibration for you to see. The same way that the bats on your planet are able to view vision, in a sense, or be able to fly within your world through the frequency that they emanate, yes? Keep in mind, the more that you expand, the more that you allow the infinite to come to you, the more it will be bearing gifts for you to continue that expansion of the infinite. And we will harp again and repeat again on the idea of using less of the physical mind and allow your conscious energy, your light body, to decipher that information for you. Because your physical mind and brain is not able to comprehend what it's designed to do already. It is a limited, dense being to begin with. Let go of your mind. Allow your light energy to decipher what is infinite, and it will assist your mind in understanding it and building a harmonious relationship of communication with each other, so you are able to understand what is occurring. But also rely on your heart. You see, the irony of this whole equation is the reliance less of the brain will lead you to the reliance more of your energy body. You'll begin to think, feel, create from energy. Brain becomes simply a costume. You will be amazed of the knowingness that you will achieve. States of knowingness that you will have. An ascended master, you have always lived on mountains. You were able to break through the barriers of cold, the idea of temperature, and you were able to survive within the realms of your confines of creation. A powerful and ascended master you were. Know that. The idea of a submarine is coming to the channel's energy, perhaps to remind you that you are about to take a trip within the oceans, within the depth, the darkest aspects of who you are. Know that you are protected and supported on that journey. And the only thing that you will find in the depth, in the darkness, is more of who you are. You are on a bigger journey that you can comprehend, but have become accustomed to allowing synchronicity to lead you. Continue on that path. Again, think less with your mind and allow synchronicities and your state of being in the heart to lead you. Two beings you will meet specifically in the very near future. Dare we say conjoined? The image that was shown to the channel are two beings hip to hip in a sense, very close to each other, always travel with each other, never leave each other. You will encounter them. When that occurs, keep your mind open, be in the essence of energy, decipher more than what you see. As what is being shown on the outside of your reality is purely an illusion. There is a message embedded within it on an energetic level that you will be able to decipher and receive a contact of sort. Are you aware of your vastness? Do you know how large you are?
I do not.
We are here to let you know that you are. Revel in that essence as you have earned your spot on the stage of creation. Again, honor every choice that you have made, every decision that you have made up to this point of your life. That is very important for you. Shame, guilt, no more. As every decision, and we will repeat, every decision and choice was perfect in design. Creation never makes mistakes. Mistakes doesn't even exist within the vocabulary of creation. It sees you all as perfect divine beings exploring the stage of creation. And it supports you with every decision that you make. And it honors every decision that you make. Because through your decisions, it allows the Creator, the essence, the whole totality of who you are to view itself from each of those perspectives. That's how you feed information back to your own self as a total energy being, as source. Do you draw? Do you enjoy painting or creating?
Yes.
Do you realize that as you draw, as you create your creation, you are in contact with that consciousness of what you are drawing? And within each stroke of your paintbrush, let's say, regardless of the medium, with each stroke, you are literally rewiring neurons within your physical mind to allow you to connect further and further with that being that is already giving you those messages. So trust where your finger and hand takes you. Allow the energy to guide you. As with each angle that is being drawn, with each stroke of the paintbrush, new connections are being made. DNA structures are being awakened to heighten the connection and the Wi-Fi receptivity, in a sense, with the being that is attempting to give you those messages. Begin seeing your world from those aspects and perspective. Begin seeing every action that you take, even the breath that you take, from a very expanded view. The same way that we just described to you the drawing of such a painting with the connection with the neurons and the Wi-Fi connection with the being, begin applying that concept of expansion to everything else that you do in your life and watch magic occur. With every breath that you take, be aware and conscious that I am breathing Mother Gaia within my being. That every bird, every river, every rock, every mountain, every volcano, every sun, every wind, every cloud, every insect, every animal, consciousness, I am breathing in. I'm becoming one with and breathing it out. Those little tricks and exercises will allow you truly to expand and accelerate on this journey that you call expansion. Have we blown your mind yet?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Are there any more questions that we can help answer for you?
I think I have enough right now
Yes,
for now.
we sense that too. With our unconditional love, bright, 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 bright white light of creation and infinite, infinite, infinite open heart, we thank you for this beautiful co-creation, for this beautiful dialogue with your energy and the energy of your audience, as you are all one to begin with. We are always here to guide you. We are always here with you. You are never, ever, ever alone. Know that each and every one of you has never been alone, will never be alone. You are always guided by the many facets and ascended masters of your own reflection right in front of you. May they be humans, animals, plant life. You are all one, supported and loved by the Creator Himself, herself, itself, all the versions. We will bring the channel back momentarily as we head back through the Stargate of Antares to where we reside. Hi. You don't want to come out of the state, do you?
No,
I know.
been too long to be honest with you. I such a pleasant surprise, if you will. Thank you so much. I It's very spot on, very emotional for me. Um, Vulnerable.
Oh, I'm getting chills right now. Oh my God, look. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I mean, go ahead, share. I mean, share what you feel
Yeah.
comfortable sharing.
So
Go.
I want to I'm gonna book a session for my wife as soon as we get off of here. It's so good, man. Thank you so much. I needed it, and it was like everything was right on. All the information that you were allowing to come through you was perfect. Every single, more than you know, more than I know, but so good. Thank you so much. The energy that was a part of it was healing, soothing, comforting, um, and it's just a friendly reminder from that all familiar, loving voice that speaks through all things. So thank you so much, and I just want to encourage anybody listening to tap in with you, and to book a session, and come see you and listen to your stuff, and they'll get exactly what they need, and I'm sure that they was able to feel the energy from that as well. to know that it's confirmation for what they're looking for, that what they need right now in their journey. So thank you for being a conduit, brother.
Oh my God, thank you for being receptive and everything you felt and everything. And I'm getting more chills right now. Oh my God, everything, everything you felt and everything you're feeling is you. Oh my God, I'm getting, oh Jesus Christ, I'm getting more chills. Like, it's crazy. I don't know why I need to, it's not about proving, it's about, just sharing the energy. Everything you felt is you. Everything your audience felt is you. This is not, again, because of our illusion, we think he's channeling for me. No, no, no. This is you channeling for you. This is your true essence. You are love. You are vibration. You are alignment. You are wealth. You are health. You are all of that. Um, I'm so glad it resonated. If people ever doubted the mantis beings, this is how they are. At least the ones that I connect with. Unconditional love, purity of heart, light, integration. Um, I'm sure whoever's going to listen to this, like whether they book a session or not, it's irrelevant, will receive the healing because this resonates, I hope,
Yeah.
with,
Oh yeah.
person
No,
as a person.
the right people need it when they get it when they need it, and if not, the seed is planted when they need it. It comes back to bear fruit, if you will.
I feel like you got rattled right now, like shook, shaken, whatever the word is,
Mm.
in a good way, not in a bad way. It's just you needed that jolt of remember.
Profound. It's some profound stuff, come pieces of the puzzle, if you will, but everything was right on.
I
Everything.
want to look in your eyes through the camera, and hopefully I'm looking in your eyes. I don't know how that works. You are special. Don't ever doubt that. Ever. Like ever. I felt how special you are. You forgot. That's all. Believe me when I say you're special. We're all special, but I'm speaking to you. Regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situations, regardless of society, regardless of your forgetfulness, you are special. This is your path. You're a leader. You've been a shaman. God, I don't know what else I said. You've been, I can feel your the ascended masterness of who you are. Um, you just are, and own and be in that energy, and no one else can change. You are. I'm telling you, you are. Like you are. I wish you could see what I see. Um, and you have so many support. So many are supporting you. It's out of this world. Out of this world. Not. You have many beings that are like watching you, that are observing you, and specifically supporting you on on this journey. So I'm here for you in any way, any capacity, whatever you need. Any, just as a friend, like beyond
Yeah.
beyond this. Just like know that you have a friend in DC and your wife, yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, and likewise, likewise. Yeah, it's funny how things work. I just say that. I'm just giving it attention,
Yes.
giving it the attention that it deserves, if you will. So, thank you, man. Well, speaking about a session, speaking about your work, where can people find out more about you? And if they want to book a session, I would say go ahead and do it because you're gonna fill up quick.
Wow.
Sure, you're gonna fill up fast. You're gonna be very busy, but in a good way. It's fun work, right? It's
Yes, it is. I
eternal work.
love this. It's amazing. Thank you. You can reach me on my website, tonygazi.com, TONIGHAZI.com. I just upgraded the website. Like we're working on the payment plan, but you can book a session on Calendly, and like we can take care of the payment later. That's not a big deal. And I'm also on all social media at the Antarian Heart. Like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. But go to my website, all the links are there. If you have any questions, please reach out. Again, thank you for having this space. Thank you for opening your arms for me. Thank you for being receptive for this message, because these messages don't come through unless you are receptive, unless you are ready, and you obviously are. And you're a special being. I need to regurgitate that. You're a special being.
Thank you so much, and likewise, likewise. Never forget it.
You're welcome.
Forget it. you.
I'm always here, so reach out anytime. I'll give you
Excellent.
my cell phone once we're done. Yeah.
Great. Sounds
Okay.
good, brother. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what you're supposed to do. Go book a session. If you feel called, if you feel like you've hit a roadblock, you've reached a dead end, you need a second opinion. If you haven't, if you just need that R&R, tap in because you're gonna get exactly what you need. It ain't what I you're not gonna get what I need. You're gonna get what you need. And many of these messages are timeless and universal, and that's why you can listen to essentially me go through a session and you can receive the energy and you can be touched through it. And that's how this works. But you know if you're seeking and searching and you need it, make sure you book a session like ASAP. I cannot put into words. I'm gonna try. I can't put in the pictures. I'm gonna try. Um, how you know impacted I am from this session, and I didn't know I was coming on here to get a session today. And that's how God works too. When you need it, man. When you most need it. Thank you so much, Tony, for being a vessel, and thank you to all the beings that show up and watch and support and help us. Every single one. Thank you.
Yes, they heard you. They're there. They're always with you. So I'm smiling. I feel like they're smiling. They're like, dude, you're powerful. Like, go for like. It's really funny. They're kind of joking in a funny way. I feel your energy right now. I feel it. I just want to give you a hug and just remind you. Don't forget that. 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 Don't ever forget that. Ever, 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 ever. You are held, literally held by the universe. You always have a safety net. The universe is there. It will never, ever, ever, ever abandon you in any way. Anyway, you are never abandoned. It's all an illusion. That's it. You are so loved, like so loved. You have an army of light beings around you. Just embraced. They literally are embracing you right now. They just have their arms all around your conscious energy, your physical body, and all the other versions of who you are. They're supporting every single version. So let go and surrender into the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beingness of who you are. You are a vessel of light. You are a vessel of love. You always have been, always will be.
Hmm. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the I'm reminded of the sin of the garden of Adam and Eve believing um, that they can become what they already are, that they can become what they already are, and that's what it seems like it's always been the proposition for us to pay a fee that for something we already own. There's no need to pay the fee. That fee that was a lie. You already are. Um, because it keeps getting told over and over and over again. It's the same lie. It does and just different people tell it because we believe it.
Yes.
We believe it. And so what if what if we already are? What if everything we need is already inside of us? What if we're already connected? What if we are the light beings that we're looking for in the sky? you know? Which is the message. So thank you so much, man. I got so much. I'm going to go back and re-listen. I drew some pictures really fast,
Wow, okay.
what I was seeing, but yeah, I did see imagery in
Okay.
the mind's eye,
Yeah.
the imagination, but as far as how the imagination works, but also visions that I see that are different because they're projections on the back of the eyelids that you see. It's different than the imagination. Um, and then the feelings that come with it, and they were like communicating, um, through all of those at the same time. So now you got, like you said, color, sound, and light all at the same time.
Totally.
Personal stuff that I needed.
Yeah. And
Silly.
just for your
Silly.
audience, so they know that like we don't know each other. Like you know, I don't know anything about you. I just subscribed to your podcast. Like just so you're so like there's a little bit of context. We just met for
Yeah.
the first time. We're absolute strangers, but I already feel the connection, obviously, like with you and with your wife, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. But yeah, so I don't know why I said that, but it's just
Yeah, content. But see, those that's how I love to do the podcast.
yeah,
First time conversations that people are getting to sit in on, and they got to sit in on, and it's always I would say, uh vulnerable. But you know, usually when you do a session, it's intimate, you know,
yeah,
and you're crying. Like I'm crying on camera. I'm snot nose, and I got filters on. You can My nose gets really red, and I'm wiping my nose on. Like
I
it's vulnerable, but it's worth it.
it's
Worth
beautiful. It's
I
beautiful.
did that so that people can do this in private with you. So I wanna stress that. Um, yeah,
No, of course, this won't be broadcasted. No, of course. No, thank you for allowing and everything you went through. And I didn't know that you were crying because I can see it. But I could feel your energy being really shaken. I could feel you got shook
yeah,
in a good way. You know, it's not a bad way. But that all happened because you were receptive, because you were ready, because you wanted to shift, because things that needed to be healed just got healed. Things that need to be released just got released. Like old definition systems gone, old paradigm gone, because you did it for you. Like this whole what just occurred is you doing it for you because I'm you to begin with. I'm the other facet of you that completes the picture. Um, but
yeah.
even like when I say that, some people aren't able to comprehend it yet. But now I
I,
know
I
that.
got a I got a real vivid picture of what that
Yeah,
interesting picture that I tried to draw, but it was yeah. I'm starting
yeah.
to see a little bit more of what I need in this moment and what it looks like with the imagination and how it works. So yeah,
And
I'm able to see it, and we know it. We got to repeat it, fake it till you make it. I am
yes,
you, you are me. Namaste until you really like, oh wow,
no, no,
believe it.
really,
Like, there's a deepener that happens.
of course, of
Like,
course.
wow, I really, you know,
Yeah.
this currency, everything is emanating back what I believe and what I say. So let me. Now that we know that, because we say we believe it, but when we know it, we can experience it, and then we can try to put cool things into it, into the imagination and to other people's life. So much so that not only your needs are met, but you're meeting the needs of everybody around you, exactly what they need in that moment, like you just did.
Do you hear the silence? You know, in like the past 10 minutes, although like we've been speaking, we were in the energy of pure silence. I don't know if you, and like that silence is like your point, like your zero point of creation. Like in this moment, you know, after like we came out of the session, you literally went back to the blank canvas of who you are, where there's no noise, but yet there is noise. That's where you re-emerge as the phoenix, and that's coming through right now. You re-emerge from the ashes, you know, as the phoenix that you always have been. You like simply like burnt the costume away, and now you're flying as this beautiful light being. I have to repeat, you are so powerful. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever, ever, ever doubt that. Ever.
Everything you said was right on, dude. I'm just telling you, it was a lot.
I don't know your life, but thank you, but I believe you. And
Yeah, so much. It's so much like I can explain or try, but it's not even like it won't come across. But but the feelings of you knowing of like, yeah,
yeah,
the personal things, all of it, like being the death ritual that the shamans go through of becoming small, becoming less to become more, and feeling tightened and buried alive and claustrophobic. Like, man,
like
I was claustrophobic for years because being tormented by my brother putting me in dresser drawers when we were little and closing them, and I couldn't move, and it was like this crazy. There's a feeling of like you're about to die, and you can't breathe, and not just that one, but being suffocated by him with a pillow, and he was huge, and he would sit on me and suffocate me, and it messed me up, like, um, I couldn't fly. I just got over, the fear of like flying because of
Get
that.
out of here.
Like, it was big, but I don't know. I just felt it. I got to see purpose behind it when you shared it the way you did, and I got to be grateful for it too,
Yes.
because it's like we want to run from it and get it off of us and never relive that. And it's like no, like
Right.
there's a if you can, like, God is there with you, to
Yeah.
go to the darkest moments, literally, the
Yes.
darkest moment. It's the fear of death that has
Right.
been defeated because there is no death.
Yes.
And
Now,
so even just you sharing
yeah.
that little piece, man, was so. I broke because I felt it. I felt it like literally a physical energy. Like I felt it, the good, because you can try to retrain the brain to have good associations with bad memories, but I didn't try just now. Like, cause I've went through counseling and stuff, and tried to rationalize it and reason and see the good in it, and I've done great with it. But I wasn't even expecting that. In my mind, I was already healed of it, and it was done. But like now, it brought me a good feeling. Like it brought it to me. I didn't try to conjure it or anything, and go back and change it. So crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane. Thank you for being vulnerable enough to share, because that is very intimate and very personal, very private and very deep. Um, but it kind of helps me, like, look, I don't doubt myself, but every once in a while, I come back to this. I always live out of my body. That's my joke. Like my husband says, "You're," uh, so he always says, "I don't live in this reality." I'm like, "Yep, I don't. I really don't." But this help, but I always doubt sometimes, but like this helps me confirm. But now, like, just go back to like that version of like the child when he was there, and just tell him he's safe. Like literally speak to that version of you. Say, look, you're guided, you're safe, and now you see it from a different perspective, right? Of an empowered perspective, not a disempowered. Now something's happening to you because it
Yeah.
was never happening to you. You're creating it for your own self because your brother was you to begin with, right? Now you're gonna see it from a very empowered, playful. You're on like the stage of creation, and just give that version of him love, and also validate your brother. Whoever caused these atrocities on us, give them validity too. Don't judge them. When you judge them, you separate. Remember, you have to bring everything back to see yourself as a whole, and just honor his journey and honor like your journey as a child with love and compassion and no judgment, and it will fizzle away because you literally the power of love. Nothing can, like, it integrates, it brings everything back together in an instant. You're living in the quantum now. You're not living in a 12-step program. Do this to get here, do A, B, C, D, you get to F. No, we jump timelines now. We heal quickly, right? There's no more, no, like, because you're not living in the old belief systems anymore. You see, you heal, you move. Boom, boom, boom. The same way that ships like fly. They go from here to here because they can, like, in an instant, be here, appear here. There's no distance because really there is no distance to begin with. It's all the now moment again, one point in creation. Everything else around is being, it's the projection of the projector, um so yeah.
Yeah, and that's just one thing. It's so much.
Totally, I'm sure. I mean, we all have and listen, I have layers too of,
The
I
blue
was,
avians, the blue avians was good, man. Cause like,
you connect with them really.
yeah, but I haven't before. Like, I've kind of like I've toyed with the idea. I've honored them in my songs, and I talk about them in my songs,
All
and but
right.
I never had to my knowledge, an encounter until when you spoke it. I got to see how um I'm really connected with the blue jays and the bluebirds, and like we have like our backyard is a sanctuary, and we honor them, we feed them, we give them we have names for them, um, you know,
Hold on.
and on many levels. So like I've kind of honored them, but when you spoke it, like I got to see them, like a vision of them, and I got to see how they were connected with the blue jays and the bluebirds with me as well. The connection there.
Wow. This makes me so happy because this confirms with me I'm not crazy. Um, I'm gonna subscribe to your God, to your I can't speak now. To your do you have a YouTube for your songs? Is that how it works?
Yeah, there's a yep,
Oh,
Spotify and the music videos and stuff. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
See
So
what so combat man humanoid. Like I have so many lyrics, but I'm trying to think of the ones with the avians. Humanoid beings shining in radiant, winged ETs watch over Homo sapiens. Uh,
wow.
uh contact with the man. I don't even
No worries, no worries. I just didn't know.
I love to yeah, share. But yeah, go check them out. Yeah, I've
Oh,
and that's how it's been in a lot of my reality is the power of the music has been to write it and mean it one way because I mean it in a certain way of maybe talking about my experience as a belief or seeing the blue light ships and just tying that back, but then they come back to visit me as I honor them in the music and I'm taken into a deeper reality of it with saints and with ghosts and all of these things that you kind of touched on.
wow.
I
This is
touch on in my music one way.
yeah,
It touches me
yes.
in a whole nother way. It honors you for honoring it more than you could ever know.
Yeah. Thank you. And look, let me mention one more thing that I forgot. I don't know. You've heard of the crystal skulls, like the human crystal skulls?
Yeah.
So I have several of them, and like when I awoke, I bought like a few of them, and I connected, right? Because crystals are are like also consciousness. So I go online one day and I'm like, okay, I want to look for praying mantis crystal skulls. Nobody makes them on Earth, so I began making them, like just like for your audience, in case, or you if you're interested. So so I'm the first one in the world that creates praying mantis crystal skulls, and I imbue them like with amazing energy. Um, they're awesome.
Wow.
So they can like empower like people, and I have a whole shamanic ritual where I kind of like this is real crystals. It's
Yeah.
and this is a big one here. But anyhow, they can find them on like my website, but not all of them yet because I haven't posted all. But these can be like good permission slips for people. And now I have necklaces. They can be good permit. This is a really tiny necklace, so you can wear a praying mantis.
Nice.
Because look, crystals are also conscious beings, and you can imbue them with all kinds of healing technology or just whatever release you need, or like to connect with your galactic guides. Um, and I'm the first one in the world. Nobody has them. Like I say in the world, I mean in the world. That like makes it. So anyhow, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. We didn't even talk about that aspect, which we can go deep into. So, man, we
We
got to
should
do
have,
so.
yeah,
We got to do another one.
no worries. We should have another episode. And I have ancient artifacts. So this is the other thing. So I became again like they come to me. So I have this 8,000-year-old Anubis artifact, which we can do like another show on him.
Mm,
That was just uncovered in Mexico. But hold on, look at the back. What do you see?
wow,
You see alien. I'm
mantis.
like and Anubis
Yeah,
and Aztec.
yeah.
When in your history book or like where in our history books like do you see that like the Egyptians and like gray aliens and like Aztecs are all together doing a ritual? Of course you're not going to see that. But that came to my vibration about I think 6 months ago, and I became like the owner of it, over 5 months. But I just picked him up like from Portland, um, and he's powerful too. So that's another.
Wow,
Anyways, and I have a huge. You see back here, this one. That's another artifact.
nice.
Yeah, and like these are four beings. It's like a sundial, and but just insane. I still don't know like what the meaning of all this is. I just know that I
He's over
became
the. Look, we just looked him up, man. He's over the magicians.
this one.
Yeah,
Oh,
got his name though. Yeah, we just looked him up, going through the story of the Exodus and Moses and the dragons.
Yeah.
and serpents.
Yeah. Anyhow, listen, I really feel like we've been friends for a long time, and I feel like we've lived other lives like spiritually together and like did a lot of work. I really feel it now, and because I feel so connected to you now
Yeah,
in a very, in a very intimate way, like right, like not sexually, but just in an intimate, you know, we've done work together like spiritually. This is not the first time.
yeah, you have a very kindred spirit as well. You remind me of a friend of mine, who's actually one of my I call him one of my coaches. He coached me when I was stepping out for the first time to start doing sessions and to start charging and owning my worth. So I'm just gonna impart that to you. Start
Yeah,
owning your worth. Start charging your worth, and you remind me of the person that coached me and showed me that it can be done, and made a great living
yeah.
coaching and helping people, doing what he loves, and called me to own my worth. So yeah, you
Well,
remind me of that
listen.
person, so I'm gonna impart to you what he imparted to me.
Well, listen, I'm really happy that we got to this point because I needed to hear that because I'm super generous with like money. I'm very generous with time. I'm a very generous soul. And like this year was all about self-worth. I always kept myself last. For like 40, almost 3 years, I put myself last, always take care of others. This is the first year where I step into my truth. So thank you for saying that because that came from a very, very ascended
Oh, it's a
energy.
it's part of it. It's part of because you would. It's still crazy to wrap your mind around the fact that you can get paid. You can get paid doing the stuff that you love and would do for free and do for free, where people are willing to pay you, and it's worth more than words could ever. There's there's your money, so it's just an exchange of energy. So finding out what that is for each individual and for each session and for each, you know count the cost for the things you sell, the material for sure. And we've all had to go through it.
Yeah.
And there's people listening. You going through it and doing it though, it's going to allow other people to do it as well and show them
Yeah.
that it can be done. Because he does what and does yeah.
Totally. Follow your
I
heart,
can
guys.
do what and man, my
Yeah.
ah, we are the manifestation of the dreams and visions that everyone gave away,
Yes.
and we gave them away too. We had to recapture them, and we're showing them how it's done as they show us how it's done. This is how it works, man. It's to and through, baby,
Totally. Totally.
and through. They show us how to do it. We show everybody else.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep. So, hey, brother, it was great to connect with you again. Yeah, we need to do this again, and we can exchange information and keep in touch. And likewise, if you need to roll ideas, need somebody to talk to, hit me up for sure.
Same here. Thank you so much. Thanks for your audience. I love you, my friend. Love your wife, and have a beautiful evening. And we'll be in touch.
Great, brother. Thank you so much, Tony Gazi. Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tony Gazi. Wow. Listen, I can't even put in the um, words what I experienced, though I tried. Right? Tried. And I'm trying. It's going. It with profound experiences like that. It takes months, if not years, um, to put into play, to unravel. But it was everything that I needed, And I get to where I haven't done a lot of podcasts lately. I don't. I'm in my own world, I've built, you know, I've a comfortable life. We have our online school, and I meet with those guys twice a week, and me and my wife are tapped in throughout the week, and we're working, and we're tapping in and doing our own thing. And so the podcast or wanting the desire to talk to people or whatever, hasn't been there for the most part. And so we booked this talk, and I'm glad I did. And God knows exactly what you need and gives it to you when you need it. Just pieces of the puzzle. So I say that to endorse whatever that was, that session. I miss leading sessions myself and doing that for other people. It was just so much was imparted in that, guys. I can, you know, and it felt strange too because you guys were watching or listening, and those are private moments, and it's not supposed to make sense for anybody, but it's supposed to make sense for you, and you are the one that makes it make sense. So I hope you'll check out his work for sure. You'll do yourself a service to do it. Um, so yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on. Um, we are coming out of our um, seclusion, and we're doing a retreat. So we have the retreat coming up in July. So it's approaching quick. I think it's July 15th through the 17th, something like that. You can get all the information at seer.school, seer.school, or truthseeker.com. Tickets are available. It's going to be a 3-day journey with me, my wife, and our friend Melissa Powell. It's going to be amazing. They always are. And yeah, so if you're interested and you want to hang out and go on a 3-day excursion with us, Knoxville, Tennessee, go to seer.school, get all the information there. We're working hard on Seer School. Um, Working hard. That's what I've been doing in seclusion, is working on that on the back end. Curriculum, websites, all that good stuff. So just, yeah, go check it out if you're interested. With that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. We'll do it again very soon.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the Truth Seeker podcast, head over to truthseeker.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/truthseeker.